Hi, everybody. How are you? We'll wait for people.
Hi, good
There's a
morning.
button.
Morning.
Good morning. There is a button that says stop video or start video. If you could click the start video, I'll be able to see you. And if you want to talk, there's a spot that says mute and unmute. And if you want to talk at any time, just hit the unmute button and then you can participate in the class. Today is going to be fairly easy. I'm going to talk through the major assignments for this week and next week, just so you kind of have the details of what is going on for the next 2 weeks. This is going to go by so fast. I want to remind everybody that we're cramming 18 weeks of a course, 16 to 18, depending on, kind of where you start and end the semester. But we're cramming that into 4 weeks. So it's going to go really, really fast. And there's going to be lots to do, but it is in chunks where you can easily navigate through what's due and, what needs to happen. And we'll talk about a lot of that today. I'll answer questions. It's very important that you're present and participating in the class. So I do need to see you. And even if your stuff's on mute and you're working while you're participating, totally fine. But you won't always have to have your camera on. The only other time that you'll really have to have it on every time is when we give our live speeches, and that's the last week of the class. So the last week of the class will be the only time that you deliver a live speech to everyone. And that's a 5-minute speech that you'll prepare in advance. It's not anything to freak out about. I won't have you giving speeches today, so no worries. But by the end of the semester, I'll get you ready in the next 4 weeks to kind of give a speech online in a virtual community. And everybody will have their camera on. You'll be able to see people while they're participating. And then, from there, that'll be like the final project before the final exam. Any questions before we get started? I'll give you a few seconds for people to pop on. Okay, perfect. So there is a chat room at the very bottom. If you haven't used Zoom a lot, you just click on chat, write whatever question. Like if you don't want to say it out loud, you just want to chat it, and then I'll answer it while I'm going. And the other thing that you should know is that I do record these, and I will post it later today. So in case you missed something or you want to hear another explanation of something that I talked about, you'll have that video to kind of see what we talked about, especially if like you miss class and you're not there. Always make sure you watch the video, because there are things that I'm explaining that you may not hear if you're not watching the videos as they come in. Can everybody hear me okay? I have my fan going because it's 180 in this house. Perfect. Okay, cool.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so let's just get started really quickly. I'm going to share my screen and make sure everybody can see what I see. And the major thing that you should see on your page is the giant portal. So if you go to cos.edu, that's going to take you to what is your student portal. And this is kind of what gets you to how to get to Canvas if you've never been there before. I'm assuming that most of you have. If you haven't, then you might want to set up a one-on-one with me and I can kind of walk you through it. But it is self-explanatory once you kind of get to know the class. But let's just say you've never done it before. The easiest way to get there is to go to cos.edu. You'll see it right here. And if you go to cos.edu and you click on My Giant, and you'll see this little red bullseye that says Canvas right there. And if you click on Canvas, that's going to take you to what is our portal for this class. Now, mine's going to look different than yours because let's say that you're in more than one Canvas class or more than one COS class, then you're going to see when you look at your Canvas portal, all the classes that you're enrolled in. These are all the ones that I'm teaching or ones that I have taught or I'm going to be teaching. So your class is here and it's this 30548. So if I click on that, I'm going to see what you see when you look at the class, and I'm going to look at it in student view so it doesn't get confusing to you. So this should be the first page that you see when you get to the class every time you look at it through Canvas. There's a couple of different ways that you can get to Canvas. One is through that cos.edu. You can also just save the Canvas homepage to your computer. Some people just have Canvas on their cell phone. There's even a mobile app if you want to add the app to your phone. I check my messages from you guys through my cell phone. I'll even sometimes grade assignments if they come in and I'm have nothing to do. I'll just sit on my phone and kind of grade. So you can totally use your phone. It's a lot easier to navigate through the laptop. But if you, ever need another device in the house, that is a good thing to do, is have that mobile app. The other thing is the announcements are very, very important. They give all the details about the class. It tells you when things are due, explains what's due. And so if you set up notifications, for example, I have them on my cell phone. Every time I send out an announcement, that notification comes up like a text on my phone. It'll come up and scroll at the top, and then I'll know, oh, okay, well, it's posted to the class. If I were you, I would set up those notifications. So last night when I posted the note to the class saying what time class was and this is what's due, you would have seen that right when it got posted. And then that kind of puts you ahead of the ball game. I usually will post on Sunday for the week ahead, and I try not to post too many announcements. But as we're learning and making sense of this together, I might have to do a couple. And they're called at speech advice, and then whichever week it is, update. So this update was the at speech advice week 1 update. And because I sent the first one out and I didn't see it come up on my phone, I reposted it just in case you guys couldn't see it. So if I was in the class, the one thing I'd really want to make sure that I was doing on Sunday or Monday is reading this announcement that came out. And this announcement, as I said before, has all the most important details of the week. And so if you read through this, it's going to tell you, hey, take a deep breath. This is a summer school class. It is going to go fast. I know there's a lot of things going on. Well, hopefully we're getting towards the end of having the weird world of COVID, but we're still in a virtual reality where we're not going to a classroom. So it's not as easy as just raising your hand and asking a question. So I want to remind you that there's lots of different places that you can get information online. And the announcements is the #1 place. If you're confused, go there first and just see if you can make sense. If you can't figure it out, then message me. Right here on the left, you'll see it says inbox. You just click on that inbox. In student view. Oh, okay, I can't do it in student view, but you should be able to click on inbox and then you can send me a message whenever you, if you need to or you want to. I also give you my cell number. It will be posted in one of the announcements. If it's not in this one, it'll be posted in the next one. And you're welcome to text me or call me anytime. So if you have a question or whatever, just reach out. So this just kind of tells you what the class is like. It's saying that you should be dedicating a good amount of time to just making sure you get your assignments done. Here's the information about Zooming. You don't have to do this again this week. Our Zooms are set up on Mondays and Tuesdays. And they go from 7 to 8, except for the last day when we have our live speeches. So that last week on the 2 days that are on the calendar, which I'll show you in a minute, those days you need to be making sure that right now you're talking to your employer, childcare, whoever, and you are making sure that you have those 2 days free, because those are our live speech days and you have to be present. So for example, today I'm being a little lenient. You're supposed to have your camera on. I'm not making you, but I will not give you class participation credit if you don't at the live speeches. So on the live speech day, you're supposed to have your camera on, you're an audience member, you'll deliver your speech, and then you'll watch the speeches of your other classmates. And those 2 days I'll tell you about in just a few seconds. But let's just say that it's Monday of next week and you have a doctor's appointment or you're working while you're trying to take this class. You do not have to show up between that 7 and 8 o'clock time period. The only reason I have that time period is because it is a hybrid class and I do want to be available to you. So I will come in, I'll explain kind of what you need to be doing for the week. Once you feel like you've got it, you're free to go and just go take care of that stuff. But if let's say that you got all your answers on Monday and you're not going to come on Tuesday, I'm not going to count it against you. I don't count class participation points. The only time I really do that is during the live speeches, and that's the last week, June like 17th or 8th or 20th or something like that. I can't remember the dates, but we'll talk about them in just a second. Now, so if I'm in this class at the end of today, I would make sure that I am watching these videos. Everything that I'm explaining right now is going to be gone over. This is an introduction of kind of who I am. If you want to know a little bit more about me as your teacher, you can watch that. I talk through the syllabus, tell you everything that is due for this class if you watch this video. And then this is kind of going over this Canvas navigation is going over what I'm going over right now. So if you feel like you've got it and you don't need to watch these 3 videos, totally cool. But I really would kind of watch these if you're confused or want to know more about the class after today. Any questions before I move on to the syllabus? Stop there.
No, thank you.
Okay, perfect. So if you go to modules right here, this gives you kind of everything that you should be doing this week. And I know it looks like a lot, but a lot of it's just kind of a paragraph and you're just reading. And it's links and tools that can help you navigate this class. I'm going to show you the ones that are most important. So where it says welcome, start here. You don't have to start there, but it is kind of, if you wanted to walk through the class and really just wrap your head around what this is going to be like, that would be a good place to start. And if you do start on there, then all you have to do is hit next, and then it's going to take you to the next one. And then you could go through all of these different pages in this module, and then you'll have everything finished for today. So if you click on next, the one that I definitely want you to look at is this course syllabus. This course syllabus tells you everything that you need to know about the class. There's my cell phone number. There's my name. I use speech advice because that's just an easy handle for people to kind of know what the class is about. It's about public speaking and delivering speeches. The CRN for this class is the 30548, but I have a class right after this that's 30546. So that's what those CRNs are for. If you want to easily find the class, you can click on this link right here and it's going to take you to Canvas. But if you're at this part, you probably already know how to get to Canvas. This kind of tells you the materials that you need. You do not have to buy a book. The book is live and online, and I give you every week the chapters that you should be reading. I'll post the links to those and you just read it from your computer or your phone or whatever. So you don't have to go out and buy a textbook. You will need a computer of some sort. It has to have video recording capability. You can use Zoom, you could use YouTube, you can use Loom. There's lots of different ways that you can record and post your speech, but you definitely want to be thinking about that in advance, not waiting, because when speeches are due, and that's by the end of this week, we're going to be working on recording your first speech. You want to definitely make sure that you know how you're planning on recording it, just so you're prepared. All the stuff that you need to know about what you're going to learn in this class. You'll hear, students a lot of classes talk about student learning objectives. These are the outcomes that you're hopefully by the end of the semester, you're going to be able to give a speech. You're going to be able to analyze one, you think critically, all those good things. So that's what you're, kind of getting for your money. Now, what most students care about is, what do I have to do to pass this class? And that starts right here where it says chapter examinations. You have a midterm and you have a final. The midterm will be in 2 weeks. Final will be 2 weeks after that. As long as you're reading the announcements and you are watching the lectures and reading through the PowerPoints, you'll be totally fine. If you're not doing that, then the midterm and the final are going to take you more time. And all of it will be posted online, so you'll have time to watch it when you have availability. So after you put your kids to bed, or once you're off work, or you want to go to the lake and you want to do your work at night, okay, whatever, totally fine. You manage it based on your schedule, and everything I post to the class through the Canvas portal. There is participation points. So for example, today, if this was a live lecture day, the only person that would be getting credit is Seneca, and only because she has her camera on. So she's fully participating in the class. In a public speaking class, the way that we give class participation points is through being a visible audience member. So you do have to have a working camera. You definitely want to make sure that that's something that you have before speech days start, obviously before you record your first speech. Again, I'm not counting it against you today, but you will have class participation assignments that you have to do. And you'll even have some that we'll talk about in just a few seconds. There are 4 famous speech critiques. So you'll watch speeches outside of class, and then you're going to write a 1-page critique of, what you liked about it, what you felt like could have been better, kind of the strengths and weaknesses of that speech, of, kind of what you liked and disliked. Your first speech that you have coming up is your introduction speech. So that's kind of how you're introducing yourself to the class. And it says here, speech blueprint and resume. So Monday of next week, instead of coming here and sitting with a live class, you will meet one-on-one with me. So for example, let's say that Bernice and I are scheduled to meet at 7 a.m. That means that Allie, Seneca, Stephanie, everybody that is here today does not need to be here right at 7, because it's just going to be Bernice and I meeting one-on-one. We're going to talk about what she's thinking about for speech 2, which is her artifact speech. By that time, she should have turned in a resume and a blueprint of her first speech that she's writing up. And we will look at that together. It'll only take about 3 to 5 minutes. And then she's going to be free for the rest of the day to go practice her speech, because the next day she has to upload it. And so the first 2 big things that you're going to have with me in this class is going to be your one-on-one interview, which I call speech 1, and then uploading your resume and your blueprint for speech 2, which is due on Tuesday of next week. And so that's going to happen pretty quickly. It's only a 3-minute speech. You do have to introduce yourself through an item. So for example, I've done lots of things like radio DJ, skating rink DJ. I've been an activist, fighting for equal rights. And I might say that I have decided that I'm going to show my microphone as a symbol of, speaking out in the classroom, speaking out in the community, et cetera. But I've got to show my item in my speech when I deliver that 3-minute speech. And I've got to talk about, why this item's important to me, maybe how I got it. And it could be anything. There's no rules on, what you have to talk about. You could talk about whatever you want. So, some people will talk about their love of travel and they'll show an image. Some people will, have a physical item like that one that I just showed you. All kinds of different things that you could decide to write your speech about. And once you read the assignment, it'll make more sense. And then the last part of the class, almost the majority of points come from actual speeches. So you'll see you have your interview speech, then that artifact speech I was just talking about. Then you're going to have the you choose the speech, which is you can talk about whatever you want, but it's a 5-minute speech. So we're starting to get longer in time. And then you have your informative or persuasive speech, and that's where you're delivering a speech where you're citing sources, you're quoting material other than just yourself. And that's going to be like your final, I would say essay, the big thing that you'll turn in before the end of the semester, your big final speech. And then the speak out is just a fun little assignment you'll do before the end of the semester. It'll be the last speech that you'll turn in, really quick, kind of like an infomercial or a quick pitch for something. And it's just a fun way to end the class with these different presentations that people will post up. So all of these speeches that I've talked about are explained in detail. They tell you whether or not they're live, whether they're recorded. Everything that you need to know is in this syllabus. This is a very valuable document. It tells you how I grade, what the grade average is. So 900 points to 1,000 points is an A, et cetera, going all the way down to an F, which hopefully no one's going to get. And then it gives you guidelines about your written assignments, making sure that they're professional when you kind of turn them in. Don't give me, Twitter speak or text speak. Capitalize your I, make sure that you're proofreading and it looks the way that you want it to look before you turn it into me. And again, all of this stuff I would highly recommend that you read, and definitely read it by the drop deadline, which is tomorrow, because you're in an accelerated class. So if you don't want a W on your transcript and you know you don't want to take this class, you have to drop by tomorrow to show no evidence that we've ever been together. If you stay in the class after the 2nd, the final drop date is the 15th of June. So you do have the ability to drop the class as the semester goes on, but you'll have a W on your transcript and you won't get all your money back. So you just want to be aware of these deadlines that are listed there, just so you're aware of, how to do the class. If you have someone that you want to tell about the class, maybe they are looking for a class to add. As I said before, I have this class and a class after this. If I have space, I can add them, but they only have until tomorrow to add the class because it's accelerated. So just send them my way and I'll help them out. Okay. Any questions before we move to the next slide, next page? Okay. So to know when things are due, you should look at the class calendar. This will tell you exactly what we're doing every single day. So for example, it says today we go from 7 to 8. Tomorrow we don't have a Zoom meetup. Thursday, we don't have a Zoom meetup, but that doesn't mean that because we're not having a Zoom meetup, you have nothing to do. There are going to be things that you should be watching. There are things that need to be turned in. And again, because this is an accelerated class, it'll seem really fast paced, but if you spend a couple of hours a week, you'll be able to get everything done and turned in. And I know that that sounds like a lot, but again, you're taking a class in 4 weeks that would generally last about 16 to 18 weeks. So it's going to feel pretty fast paced and everything's going to feel all together. Now, on Monday, you come to your private Zoom meetup with me. We'll meet one-on-one here at the same link. It's always this Canvas or Zoom link. And you only have to come with me long enough for you to do your interview. So after you do that interview, you're going to be free on next Monday. The longest class period we'll have next week will be on Tuesday. We'll meet from 7 to 8. I'll answer any questions that people are having. I'll remind you that you need to be uploading your speech 2, which is your artifact speech. And we'll kind of talk through everything that's happened in the last week and see if there's any questions for things moving forward. Then on Wednesday and Thursday, again, no Zoom. Those are always your kind of free days to kind of work on the class at your own pace. And then on the 14th is when your midterm is. And so on the 14th, that will be a day that I will post the midterm. You'll have 24 hours to get it done. And you'll just work on it and make sure that, you're answering the questions based on the lectures that you've been watching, hopefully, that were posted. And you'll see them posted. I'll show you in just a few seconds where you find that stuff. On top of the midterm, that will be also when we are looking at your third speech. Again, we're already in the 3rd week by this point. You've now delivered your speech 1, your speech 2, and your speech 3. That means you only got 2 speeches left. You'll be commenting on fellow classmates, so talking about what you like and dislike about their presentations. And you'll be watching famous speeches that'll kind of help you understand what you're supposed to be doing. Seeing, kind of the quality of their work and either trying to do like them or not do what they did, not mess up like they may have. And then you'll see Wednesday and Thursday of that week, it says no Zoom meetup, but it does tell you that there's things that need to be turned in or things that are due. And all of that will have submissions under the assignments tab, which I'll show you in just a few seconds. Then you have your final week. These are the 2 days that I told you definitely want to make sure that you're planning for in advance. These do cost class participation points, and it can kind of turn an A into a B if you do not show up to the live class. It can turn a C into an F or a C into an A as well if you're really active in improving on your speeches. But these 2 days, class goes from 7 to 9:30. And if we get done with speeches, I'll let you out. But if we're not finished in time, then it will probably take the entire class period. So we want to make sure that everybody's present. Even if you're not giving your speech, you have to be there. Half the class delivers their speech on one day. The other side of the class delivers their speech on the other day. And so it is just a live speech. It's a 5-minute speech where you're citing sources, you're backing up what you're talking about, and you're delivering that presentation to the class. And then the last 2 days are preparing for your final. Again, there's no class meetup. The 21st and the 22nd are the 2 days you really want to make sure that you have all of your obstacles, childcare, plans. If you're out of town, make sure you have Wi-Fi and a steady internet connection. If you have to work, make sure that you tell your boss that you've got to have a break during that time because you do have to be present for those classes. Okay. And then if we keep going, you'll see this is the link to the textbook. If you just click that link, it's going to take you right to, how you can get the book. You can either do PDF, online, ebook. The chapters are right here. You'll be able to look at it, all together. And so if you click on the online version, you'll see that you can download the book. You also can read the chapters right here. So for example, if you don't or can't find the link in the emails that I'm sending out or the updates I'm posting, then you'll be able to find the book right here and you can read it in your own free time. Okay, let's go back to, let's see real quickly here. Okay. I also told you that there are a couple of different places that you can record your speech, Zoom being one of them. You could come in here when we're not on and record your speech and then post it to YouTube and then share the link. You can even record live into YouTube and then share the link. And I'll do a video and information about how to do that. But you want to make sure that you know how to post a video just so you can have that prepared next week. On top of that, you'll see that there's a place called the COS Student Lounge. If you want to get to know people, you have questions about things that are, happening on campus, or even last semester I had students in there, I'm graduating, can someone tell me where to get this or whatever? And they posted it in this student lounge. I also have a link on Facebook. There's a COS student group page, so you could click on that and interact with other students as well. If you have a question for me, you can post that here. And again, all of this is under discussions or modules. I posted a lot of different places, so you can find this, in your free time. These are just links that helps you get familiar with an online class. You do not have to read these or, make sense of them unless you're looking for more feedback or information. There's the student learning outcomes. Again, that's things that you'll find in your syllabus, kind of what you're learning in the class. And all of this stuff is, like I said, just stuff to help you more easily navigate the class. If it was me, I would read through this just so I know everything that Robin posted, because it does give you good details, like, kind of what do you need to do this week, and, what's this class about, and what's class going to be like? How do I drop it if I don't like it? All that stuff is going to be in here. Etiquette for answering questions online, all that stuff is going to be available right here. Here's the mobile app. Again, something that you can add to your cell phone if you want. And then final grade information, library, we don't need that. Support, if you need support on campus, there's all kinds of different support tools that are there. And then this is your first assignment. So if you go, let's just say that you're in this class and you're like, okay, I just want to know what's due. What do I need to do? If you go through this module, you'll see at the very bottom, this one that says student introduction, and it has 20 points connected to it. If it doesn't have grades underneath these different links, then that means there's no points connected to this stuff. But if you're really busy, you're trying to make sure you don't miss anything, you could click on this student introduction discussion, and then you're going to go down there and reply. You'll see that Genesis has already done it. Very good job, Genesis. And that means that she is going to get at least partial credit because she's posted by midnight tonight. Now, the way that she gets full credit is after tonight, she has to comment on 2 other people's introduction. And once she does that, then she'll get full credit, 20 points. If she just introduces herself, she gets 10 points. So to get full credit for this assignment, you have to not only introduce yourself, but you also have to comment on 2 other classmates' introductions. And that has to be done Friday night by midnight. All right. Now, you'll see if you look back at this modules that there is one that's going to get posted tomorrow. So I am trying to give you today to make sense of the class. And then tomorrow is when you're going to see the first lesson, the first reading, the participation stuff that's due. So all of your assignments for this week, what you should be working on Wednesday and Thursday are going to be posted up tomorrow or tonight at midnight. So today you really only have to do this and then read through this stuff if you want to make sense of it. And that's kind of all you have to do today. Tomorrow, you want to definitely make sure that you're going over part 2 and getting that stuff done by midnight on Friday, just so you're ahead of the ball game. Okay. And another place that you could see those assignments is just by clicking that, and then you'll see them here. The only thing I don't like about looking at it this way is, so there's a lot of things that's listed here and it may get confusing, but what you need to know is, let's say there's midterm. I know for me, I'd be like, okay, what is the midterm? I can see it now, but you're going to click on it and notice, oh, I can't see it right now. It's locked until the day that we can do it. So the best way to look at these assignments is to go through the modules, so you don't get distracted and you can kind of see when things are due. So for example, the week 1 participation, the student introduction, the Denzel Washington famous speech critique, those are going to be the first 3 things that you're doing by the end of this week. Okay, and you'll see it says do 6th, do the 4th, do the 3rd. All right, I've talked the most of the time. I'm going to let you talk now. What questions do you have?
So for the 22nd, that's our final. We don't have to be live during that time.
The 22nd, let me look at that really quickly. So for the 22nd, you do have to be live. That's a live speech day. The 21st and 22nd are the only 2 days that you absolutely have to be online, and you have to have your camera on and ready to give your speech and watch speeches.
Okay, thank you.
And that's only from 7 to 9:30, and then you're done on those 2 days. All the other days are not mandatory, but you know, if you have questions, I highly recommend that you show up.
Can you show where the textbook is again?
If you go to modules right here and you click on course materials right there, that will take you to the link. And then when you click on it, you just decide which kind you want, online, ebook, whichever one that you want. But this is it, the Stand Up, Speak Out. And the other thing, Allie, you should know is, let me show you something really quickly. So on this modules right here, tomorrow, where it says readings, I will have chapter 1 and chapter 6, which is your first 2 chapters you have to read, and I'll have the links right to those chapters. So today you don't really have to worry about it unless you want to jump ahead, which is totally fine. But tomorrow, when that pops up at midnight, you'll be able to have the link right to what you've got to read.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else questions?
For the student introduction discussion that's due today, we're gonna like write out our like what you have listed there and then reply to 2 classmates, what exactly do you want us to like reply to the classmates?
Well, you might say, let's say that on mine, I say, I love to travel and I love anywhere that has water or whatever. You might say, I love kayaking too. My favorite place to go is here. Or, hey, it was nice to meet you. I'm a nursing major as well. It doesn't have to be, really extensive. I just want you to, show me that you've read and are commenting on 2 people, and try to pick people who don't already have someone commenting to them. So you're just trying to interact and engage with your classmates.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Anybody else have questions?
When will we know our times for our meetup?
I will be posting those. If not tomorrow, you'll definitely know them by Thursday. And it'll just be a Google link that'll show you exactly what time you're meeting with me.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Good questions, everybody. Proving to me that you did listen. Okay, any other questions? Okay, perfect. So I'm going to leave student view really quickly and give you a preview of what's coming out in the morning or tonight. So you won't be able to see this yet because I want you to focus on first the course navigation and then 2, introducing yourself. But let's just say it's midnight and you're dying to see what my lesson is for the day. This is 3 of the lecture components. And so this is very important for you not just to say, okay, well, I don't need to watch this. I came to Robin's meetup. This is the lecture. So like if you were going to sit in class and watch me lecture about public speaking, that's what these videos are. And this is the PowerPoint that goes along with it. So it's going to have the links to the PowerPoint and then the links to the YouTube video where I'm explaining everything that is in this PowerPoint. So if you're doing the assignment and you're like, oh, this doesn't make sense, I don't know what a transactional model is, then that means that you didn't watch the videos and you didn't pay attention to the PowerPoint. So you really want to make sure that you're taking your time to go through the lesson before you start doing the assignment. What Allie was just asking about in reference to the reading, I'll always have whatever chapters you're supposed to be reading for that week. Sometimes it'll be just 2 chapters, sometimes it'll be 5 chapters. And if you feel like, you want to read your chapters at night and work on your class stuff during the day, totally fine. You go at your own pace, you figure it out on your own. But if you do have questions about, hey, I feel like I got this assignment, I've watched your videos, do I have to read the textbook? I'm not going to make you, but you are missing content that could be asked about on the midterm or the final. So the most important component is my lectures and the PowerPoints. The second component is the reading component. And then if I was in this class and I wanted to know what I needed to do, the next component of this module is the participation assignment. And so this is a recap of the PowerPoint, the questions that I have to answer, and this is due by June 3rd, and it's worth 20 points. And so I have to answer all of this stuff and post it by the 3rd, and it's worth 20 points. And then the next part is this assignment, which is not due till Sunday night. So it's not that everything's due by Thursday, or Friday, but everything is due by Sunday night, so we can get started fresh on the week ahead, on the next week. So those will be everything that's due, and that will be posted under modules at midnight. You'll see it right here. And so you'll see there's week 2's modules, week 3's modules, and week 4's modules. So it's not overwhelming. It just will get posted every week so you can see what's due. And if you ever get overwhelmed, take a deep breath, message me, and I'll talk you off the cliff. Because you can do this, I promise. I've made it really easy to navigate, hopefully. And if that isn't easy, then you need to tell me so I can correct it. Okay, any more questions? I'm never going to keep you longer than you need to. So if you don't have questions, I'm going to let you guys go. So I need to know, does anybody have questions? Okay, everybody good? All right, so what I will tell you is that I am going to be on Zoom, this same link, again, doing this very same thing. And that class starts at, I'll tell you right now, just so you know. It starts at 9:45. So let's say that you get off of here, you go to look at something and you're like, oh my gosh, I have a question. I will be back in Zoom at 9:45. And if you're here, you can ask a quick question and then get off. Or you can stay and watch the whole thing again, which I wouldn't recommend, but if you wanted to, go for it. But I will be back on at 9:45. And if there's something that's confusing or doesn't make sense, or you can't find a link that I talked about and you want to look at it, then come back in at 9:45 and I'll explain it. Okay? And I will post this video later today. All right, go have a good day. Nice to meet all of you. Go introduce yourself to each other.